yes, today we want to quickly talk about the stage we are now on our job hunt. Earlier on, we had shared that we sort of left our jobs and we are back in the market and actively applying for jobs. In a previous video, we talked about how we were pumping in a lot of application. One of the days I did over 70 applications. And of course, we set a target of doing 10 applications each day. Minimum of 10 applications each day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now some of those applications have now come back with interview invitations. So we are actively interviewing at this time. And we want to share some tips that we are applying to do our interview. I think you can start.
I wanted to say something about really emphasize on the need to send out as many applications as possible. If you are really, searching for jobs, is very important because we actually took our time, dedicated it to searching for these jobs, applying to several jobs, and right now it's like we're reaping the harvest of interviews. For me personally, last week and the upper week, I was having interviews almost every day.
Every day.
Yes, and it's been quite exhausting. Even today, I'm just coming back from an interview. Yeah, just for you to know that you have to put in the applications. You have to sow the seed. Let me use our how do we sow the seed of applications to get the harvest of interviews, because this is a process, really. Job hunting is a process.
And just to add more clarity, clarify what she just said. From our background, we are coming from a very religious background where people rely on praying and faith for a lot of things. But we have realized that a lot of things in life, work based on principles and laws. So when it comes to job hunting, you have to understand what is required and what's one of the key thing required. One of the key tips or rule you should apply in searching for a job is to ensure that you apply for adequate number, pushing lots of application. Because by the time you push in lots of application to jobs, you increase the probability, the chances of you being called for an interview. And don't look at the response, because people do 1, 2, 3 and then they get the unfortunately or negative response and they get tired, they give up. No, this is not the time to give up. So this is the time to set your target, set your goal, and work towards your goal. Ignore every negative feedback, work towards your goal, and that's what you'll be looking at, and sustain that for a period of time. Definitely you will start getting interviews. So that's what the stage we are now.
Yeah, so let's talk about how we've been preparing for the interviews. Do you want to share, or I should talk about that?
Yeah, I think you start.
So I've been getting lots of interviews, and for my preparation, one of the things I do is for every job application I make, I ensure that I have it in a folder, because you're sending out a lot of applications and sometimes you even forget that you have applied to certain companies. So what works for me, and I would also recommend that to you if you're applying, is to always put your job in folders. Maybe you can create a very big folder where you call maybe job hunting, give it any name. Then in that folder, you have subfolders. So what I do there, my cover letters, the CVs I'm using, and my personal statements, because some jobs might require you to write personal statements. Everything I've used in the application package, I put them in those folders and I label them. So what happens anytime I get an invite for interview, because I would have forgotten what I had done, I will go back to my folder and call up my application pack, and I will study it again and try to refresh my memory on the job description. Yes, always put your job description, because your interview is all about testing how you are matching, how you're a strong fit for that role. And if you're not talking to the requirements on the description, there's a high chance that you're not going to scale through the interview. So I always work with my package, then I'll use that for the preparation. Do you want to add anything to this?
Yes, when it comes to interview preparation, just like she has said, your goal is to convince the employer, the hiring
Yeah.
manager, that you are the best candidate,
For that
the
role.
perfect fit for that role, and you're looking at the job description in the vacancy, and that's why you need to have it.
Yeah.
So just like you said, mine, I wasn't that organized. I
Saving
wasn't
them. Okay.
saving the folders. But what I was doing is that whenever I'm called for an interview, I go back to the internet to search for that job
And what
vacancy.
if the thing is
So
disappeared?
somehow I trust and
Because
believe
sometimes
that even though it's gone off in some places, some other places where it was reposted and all that, I can still find it on the internet. And some of the times I do.
It happened to me in
Yeah.
my last job when I was looking for that application, the job description. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I had to refer because I did a printout of it.
Yeah.
So that was what I used to prepare for that interview. So I would I strongly
Yes,
advise that you have the documents of that application, because sometimes the job boards might pull them off so that they could upload new jobs, so you might not find them.
I think the challenge I have is that, because I was applying to so many jobs, I couldn't just say, but what I'm doing now is that some jobs that I have a strong fit, that, within my area that I feel that I have a strong argument for these roles, I take them a lot more serious in terms of when I'm applying. I customize my CV for them specifically, right? And do go extra mile of saving that job description, because I believe that I'll be called for that interview, so I can also prepare better. So that's what I do. And just like you said, you are looking to match your skills and experience to those roles. So in terms of doing that, I learned that you should sit down and write out 5 different projects or scenarios of projects that you've done. So one of the things I was while I was doing my research, I had to sit down, document 5 different scenarios of jobs that I've done, and with these 5 you can tweak them to any question that comes, any competence question that comes. So with these 5, I detail these 5, use the STAR method. Method.
We need to talk about the need to, position yourself as an interviewer.
Okay.
With the questions that you think that you'll be interviewed with, because those are the questions you're going to be preparing with if you're talking about your scenarios.
So there are 2 things: is identifying the stage I am in is identify 5 projects.
Okay.
So these 5 projects sort of will be the substrate, the base of what you're going to put. And why you need to do this is that you think through what happened.
Yeah.
You build it up. You write the story. Situation. What were you doing? The task. What were you guys looking to achieve? Right? What action did you take? Right?
Okay.
And what result did you achieve? So when you do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, then you have a base set of things, because you don't want to get to an interview and ask you a question, you're thinking about it for the first time, because you won't be articulate enough to answer everything they want.
You won't even remember anything, because you're in an interview environment.
Even when you remember, you won't remember the details.
The details, yes.
Yeah, and the devil is in the details. So having this 5 down, good. Then the next thing is you now sort of act as an interviewer for that particular role, and generate questions that you will be asked for those competencies and all that. And we have a tip, a pro tip that we use.
Yeah.
To do that, we use AI to generate some of this. And when you do that, you generate questions, then you now start answering
those questions
towards the from the scenarios you presented. And in each of them, of the questions, depending on the competence that's being looked for,
Mm-hmm.
you look at your scenarios, which one is best fit for which particular question, which one best brings out what is being asked. And if you need to tweak it and package it, add some packaging to answer specifically to what is being asked, then so that's it from my side on the scenario preparations for interviews.
Yeah, so we just wanted to share, give updates on what we're doing, and we're actually making progress. Oh, we're actually making progress. Yeah, so if you have any questions about anything that we have shared today, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section, and we'll take it up from there. So see you some other time. Bye.
Bye.